Fallout from Saturday's scuffle in Chicago, some big games on Wednesday, and an American keeper says he's going to play for another country. Hey everyone, welcome to The Daily. I'm Greg Lalas alongside Simon Borg. And today we're looking into some of the big stories, and the biggest one out there right now is the fallout from what took place after the game at the Chicago-Seattle match on Saturday. Of course, Seattle with a 2-1 victory there at Toyota Park, but it was the post-game activities. A little bit of a scuffle between a lot of people. Jalil Anibaba involved in a hard tackle on Leo Gonzalez, and now there's some fallout for it.
Chicago Fire revealing that both Jalil Anibaba and Frank Klopas were dismissed from the field. Jalil Anibaba getting a red card and Klopas being asked to leave the field by the referee. That's what went down in his book, meaning automatic one-game suspension for both Anibaba and Klopas. But this rivalry is becoming slowly one of the better ones. Why? Chicago has never beaten Seattle. Sure. There's that Open Cup game from last year. And Mauro Rosales talking about how Gonzalo Segares maybe has it in for him and has been fouling him. And then there's that video that has emerged of Eddie Johnson and a gesture to the fans, and we'll see if the disciplinary committee maybe has more discipline to met out here.
Well, just to be clear, Anibaba got the red card for the tackle on Leo Gonzalez, actually, and it was Frank Klopas who was dismissed after the game. This was all in the referee's report that eventually was filed to both clubs. The player and the coach will be missing a game. Now, Simon, Seattle, on the other hand, huge game for them on Wednesday. They're going to be taking on the Los Angeles Galaxy, and they have been saying all along this is a game they're going to a measuring stick for them.
I think it's a mistake because I think they're putting too much expectation on this game, and what if it doesn't work out? And it's not as easy to say, hey, we're going to go in and beat the Galaxy. So what if you don't have a great performance? What does that do to the team's morale? Ziggy Schmidt saying that he's okay with his team getting fired up for the Galaxy, but I think that has a pitfall.
Well, Landon Donovan for LA saying there might be some changes in the lineup for the Galaxy. That game is at 10 p.m. Eastern Time on Wednesday, Seattle, LA. You can actually watch that on MLS Live. Another big game on Wednesday night, the San Jose Earthquakes, top in the West, taking on DC United, the number 2 team in the East right now. DC and San Jose, both some surprise prospects so far this year, but both very, very good in the attack.
Yeah, and I think these two teams now have established themselves enough with saying, okay, they need to prove something. They've already done it. Over the last month, we've been saying, okay, they have this test and that test. They've passed all the tests. They're among the elite. And I think their squads are not just made up of the stars we hear about, Wondolowski and Leonard for San Jose, and then D-Row and Chris Pontius for DC. I think you have other pieces that are underrated, a Beitashour for San Jose, who people are talking national team. And for DC, you have a left back, Daniel Woolard, who's been performing well, 2 assists over the weekend. So I think these are 2 very complete teams.
In a way, this is the test. This San Jose DC game is maybe the biggest test for both of them. Certainly for San Jose, going up against a very good DC team that's very confident, 7-game unbeaten streak. And for DC to have to travel all the way across the country to take on the Earthquakes. That game is at 10:30 p.m. Eastern Time. You can watch it on MLS Live here on MLSsoccer.com. Some other big games on Wednesday night. There is another MLS game, New England, Colorado. That's at 8 p.m. on MLS Live. But the Canadian Championship, the Amway Canadian Championship, starting up, it's going to be 2 games. Montreal, Toronto, that's the first one. Edmonton, Vancouver, the second one. I think everybody's eyes are on Toronto and what they do. Obviously winless in MLS, actually pointless in MLS. So now it's a question of will they go after this in the ACC?
What does Aaron Winter do? Does he play his starters for this ACC and try to win another Canadian championship, make it to the Champions League? Or do you focus on league play and getting that first win over the weekend? I would focus on the league because with 2 wins, they're back in the mix. I would play reserves here. Winning the Canadian Championship won't satiate the Toronto fans who want the playoffs.
Yeah, they certainly do. We actually talked about Toronto with Brian Strauss from Sporting News on MLSsoccer.com's podcast, Extra Time Radio. You can check that out at MLSsoccer.com/extra time. And Toronto will get a chance to finally get their first point in MLS on Saturday when they host DC United. Not a very easy match, but something I think they really need to do. They need to get that first point. News coming out about Ryan Meara, the New York Red Bulls' #1 goalkeeper, a rookie for the Red Bulls who has, it seems, pledged himself to Ireland. He's going to be called up by the U21 Irish team for a coming European qualifier. Simon, this is an American goalkeeper who through his grandparents, has an Irish passport or can get it. Now it looks like he's going to declare himself for Ireland.
Great job, Ryan Meara. Although the Irish FA and Irish press will want to say he's declared, he's pledged, he is using the fact that he has an Irish passport and he's going to get experience in the under-21 championship in Europe. He's going to be seen by people in Europe, so he's breaking through there. But let's be honest. If the United States ever came calling, Ryan Meara is coming back, and he's going to use that one-time switch that he can make, and he's coming back to the United States. No doubt in my mind.
Well, Meara got his first shutout for the New York Red Bulls this past weekend. We'll see if he can do that again this coming weekend. But it remains to be seen what will happen when he gets called up by the U21 Ireland team. Finally, lots going on MLSsoccer.com today. Of course, Extra Time Radio with Brian Strauss. We also spoke with announcer Gus Johnson and his new gig as the radio voice for the San Jose Earthquakes. And the Power Five. Simon, we're looking at the headlines of the season so far, and today we're actually talking about the Golden Boot race.
Which took a twist this week with Thierry Henry going down to injury. He's gone for the next month. Wondolowski comes back. He has 2 straight games now for him that he can just jump ahead now. Thierry Henry leading it, but that's the race everyone wants to see. Thierry Henry, world superstar, against Chris Wondolowski, the guy who's come out of nowhere. Still a Cinderella story, even though he's one of the top scorers in the league for 2 years running.
I would actually also throw in Maicon Santos for DC, the way he's been playing. He's got 6 goals on the season. Also, our power rankings will be out today, so make sure you check all of that out on MLSsoccer.com.